Hi guys, welcome to my channel, One Happy Hectic Mom. I'm Wendy. If you're new here, I have 5 children. Desiree's my stepdaughter. She's 21, no longer lives at the home. And then I have the girls, Joey, Addie, and Kennedy, that range from Joey's 19, Addison's 16, and Kennedy will be 15 next week. And we had a baby. His name is Harrison. He was born July 31st. At 10:08 p.m. There is a 15-year age gap between him and Kennedy. So needless to say, Adam and I are starting all over again. We were young when we had the girls. Now we are considered a more mature parents having him. But I thought I would share with you guys our birth story and how that all went and everything. For those that are new, I just turned 37. I have no shame in my age. I turned 37 on Friday the 13th. And so that was fun. But I had a baby when I was almost 37. He is 6 weeks old. He was a shock, a happy shock. He is a blessing. He is sleeping behind my camera right now. And so I keep looking at him. He's starting to wake up. But I have ankylosing spondylitis, which there is a video that I'll link down below explaining all of that and my other autoimmune diseases. So it was a difficult pregnancy. I swelled like there is no tomorrow. I couldn't put flip-flops on. I had to go up 2 sizes in flip-flops. I actually wear a size 8.5 to 9 normally, and I bought a size 11, 12 flip-flop for the width around it so that I could get my feet around it. They don't know why I swelled so bad, but it was pretty bad. And it was like I had edema, so like it would, like edema when you'd push in and it sinks in and stays. I had that. So the last weekend of July, Adam's family had a family reunion for his dad's side, and I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't planning on going. We thought the baby would already be here, so I'm like, no, I didn't RSVP for me. I didn't pay for me. The donation, or anything like that. And then I was like, no, I'm going. I was in active labor. I was having a lot of contractions. If I would rest, the contractions would, get stronger, but spread out more, if that makes sense. So they were more intense when I would relax, but instead of them being 5 minutes apart, they would go to 15 minutes apart. The next day was a barbecue, an all-day barbecue at a park and a lake. I walked that lake. It was bad. I was having lots of contractions, but they weren't going anywhere. So with the okay of my doctor to try anything to get him out instead of being induced, I tried, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'll put it here on the screen if I can remember it. It's going to drive me bonkers. Midwife's brew. It's horrible. It tasted horrible, but it worked. It gets your contractions going, because what it does is it like gets your bowels moving, because you drink castor oil a little bit. It worked. So we took that Sunday night. Horrible contractions, really bad. Monday morning, they were at they were like 2 minutes apart. They were bad. I finally woke everybody up. Joey had to drive us because Adam couldn't drive us because he's narcoleptic and he takes the medicine at night, and he took his medicine, so he couldn't drive, and I shouldn't have drove being in active labor. So we all went, and on the monitor, he was doing great. I was in labor. They were hard. They were coming, but I was only dilated to a 4 and 0, like 0% of face. Like he wasn't there. So I had the option of either going home and relaxing or staying there. So I chose to go home and relax. I went home and fell asleep. My contractions stopped, like dead stopped. And I'm like, what the heck, little guy? So then, as you know, it all started again. And that was Monday. Tuesday, they were still bad. And then Tuesday night, they were pretty bad still. And I told Adam, I'm like, don't take your medicine. I go, if we have to go back in, because at that time, at Tuesday night, like around 7, they were probably 7 minutes apart and getting more intense. And I was like, don't take your medicine. If we have to go in, I don't want to wake everybody up and it be a nothing and all of that. So he didn't. And at about 5 a.m., I woke him and I'm like, we got to go. They're 90 seconds apart and they're lasting a minute or more. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. And then I was afraid I was going to have a baby at home. So we get to the hospital. I'm still dilated to 4. Like, what the heck? Oh, I was so mad. And they were, you could tell they were huge. I had like the big divots. They were close. They're like, well, you're there. He's contracting. You're in contraction labor. They're not fake. But because I was not dilated to a 6, I wasn't in active labor. So they were going to monitor me for an hour. They took me off the monitor. They're going to have me sit there for an hour. I could have an exercise ball. I could walk, those kind of things. So I just sat there in pain. Adam slept on the bench. I believe I have footage of that. This is where it gets a little TMI, guys. Are you ready for it? When we went to the hospital, I just threw on a skirt, you know, and my panties. Like, I had that on. Like, I just threw on a skirt. I didn't put shorts on, no pants, no nothing. I stood up, and I thought my water broke. It was blood. So then I'm like, well, they checked me. I was been bleeding a little bit throughout my pregnancy. It's nothing. It's okay. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So me being the person I am, I clean up the floor, clean up me. I go to the bathroom, do my thing. There's a lot of blood in the toilet. Still don't think anything of it. I'm washing my hand and blood is just flowing. Like I had my period blood. And that scared the bejeepers out of me. So I, again, clean up the floor. I put some like napkin, like paper towel and toilet paper to like kind of stop it connect from my panties and, you know, a barrier. And I went and got my nurse. I didn't want to page her in back in my room because I didn't want Adam to stress. I didn't want to do any of that. So this is like now 7 a.m.-ish. And she came in, she was like, okay, well, let's check. And she got the midwife that came in, went and got the midwife and she checked me and she's like, well, you know, there's some normal bleeding. We'll see. She checked me and she's like, this is not normal bleeding. You're having a baby today. And I was like, what do you mean this isn't normal bleeding? Like, what in the heck? Like, am I bleeding out? Am I hemorrhaging? What's going on? I guess when she removed her hand from checking me, her hand was covered in blood, Adam said. I couldn't see it because I was on the table, giant belly, couldn't see it. And so she was worried. So then a attending OB came in and was like, well, you have to go up, you're going upstairs. So, you know, first floor, I had to go to labor and delivery. I was in like OB screening and then I went to labor and delivery. She said, you're going up there, you're having the baby. You're having, oh my gosh, what's it called? Placenta abrasion. In a nutshell, my placenta was starting to separate from the uterine wall. That is why I was bleeding. It wasn't completely because the baby wasn't in distress. So they wheeled me upstairs. I had to go, to the bathroom. I got up there, you know, I'm 9 months pregnant, essentially. I was 38 weeks. I had to go all the time. So I went into the restroom to use the restroom and by then they put a pad on, like a pad after you have the baby. I was throwing blood clots that were the size of like tennis balls. So I was no longer allowed to walk. They gave me a catheter. I love you women that can do it naturally. You guys are troopers. You're amazing. I chose to have an epidural. If I was allowed to have one because of my back. which I was able to have an epidural. And that was the better option because in case I had to have an emergency C-section, I already had the medicine in me. So I get my epidural at 9 a.m. This is the big thing. At 9 a.m. I get my epidural. Full strength. I'm not feeling any more contractions. They're still happening. Not feeling them. I'm fine. Relaxing, baby, all of that. So, there's still a lot of blood. So they have to keep like doing the pads and weighing it and all of that. I was 1% off of needing a blood transfusion at the end of it. I lost a lot of blood from it, but I'm fine. He's fine. But let's back up. My mom came, Adam's parents came, we had friends come, everybody was there throughout the day. The girls were there for a little bit, then we sent the girls home to like eat and do all that. And then they came back after Joey was still babysitting Thomas at the time. So after my sister got off, the girls came back to the hospital, and then at night everyone was there. Well, about, gosh, it's funny, like, I don't know, 7, I just got my shift change nurse just happened, and I go to Adam, I go, I'm going to tell him it changed. Something's different. I'm going to tell him. I couldn't feel anything, guys. Like, when I say I couldn't feel anything, I mean, I could not feel anything from the waist down. Like, my leg would fall off of the bed, and the nurse would come in and be like, oh, your leg is down here, ah, 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 and pick up my leg. Because I couldn't move them either, because I was in the bed for so long, and then he was sitting on it. He was pinching, like, my nerves. And then the epidural, and then with my back, I just couldn't move him. But very, very, very thankful that I had the epidural. You'll find out in a minute as to why. And so I'm like, I'm going to tell him. Adam's like, okay, like, whatever, Wendy. And so they came in, they checked me, and I was dilated to a 6. So now I was like 75% effaced or something like that. So then I was considered active labor now. So they came in and they brought me a exercise ball that they call the peanut. It is the shape of a giant peanut. And so it has like the 2 big balls and the nut, like a peanut shell. And they put your legs in it and you sit on your side and then it opens up your hips. So I had that. So then I started making jokes about my ginormous testicles and all of that with my very Catholic in-laws. It was hilarious because Adam was like, stop it. And so then it just made me go even more. And by now I'm like hungry because I haven't been able to eat all day. I want this baby out. We really wanted him born in July. So like we're punching, like it's like coming up to time. Like it's, come on guys. So then they did all that. So then I look at Adam and I go, I'm just going to tell him something's different. I can tell something's different. He's like, can you? I'm like, no. So then they come back in and I am dilated to 10, 100% effaced, whatever that means, or 0% effaced, whatever it is to have the baby in position you need to be. And so then, they're all in here. They're like, all right, we're going to go get ready. We're going to get you ready. Cause they have to like take apart the bed kind of, get you situated, all of those things. And we'll have Kristen or Krista, whoever my nurse was, will call us when you're all set. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm still bleeding pretty bad. The baby is starting to heartbeat go down a little bit. Like he's going into a little bit distress, but they're not telling me this. And so I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like I'm ready. We kick everybody out of the room. The only people that were in the delivery room was Adam and Kennedy. I did not want any of our parents or friends or anybody else in the room. It was just me, Adam, and the girls, whoever wanted to be in there. Kennedy wanted to be in the birth. Kennedy was there. She witnessed it. I did not witness it. I was there. But so, she's getting everything all ready. And so then she like, they have my doctor's office, my hospital, they had like little walkie-talkies and they were like, Paige, Susan, I don't remember any of the doctors' names. And it pages her and she's like, hey, we're ready in room, I don't know where I was, room 16. And she's like, well, I had to go into the OR. Janet's coming in there. Page her when you're ready. Have her do a couple practice pushes before you call her in. And the nurse, I remember I was laying right here and she was like off to my side and she goes like this. She goes, okay. And then looks at me and goes, we will not be doing practice pushes. Page Janet. So then turns out Janet comes in. Janet is the chief OB of my hospital. Didn't know she was coming in my room. Didn't know we were having her. She, I guess the blood I was losing, the baby's heart rate started going down. So they brought her in instead of just like a midwife delivering him because the OBs were busy in the OR. So she came in and my nurse, we'll call her Kristen, said, yeah, we were told to do some practice pushes. I decided not to. She's done this before. She knows what we're doing. And so they come in and, you know, I'm like putting my legs on the stirrup thingies and all situated. And the doctor was like, yeah, I would agree. No practice pushes. I guess his head was right there. And this is the part that gets reason why I was very thankful that I had the epidural for how long I did. His head was right there. I had a contraction. I pushed for about a half a contraction and my contraction stopped. My IV was, let's see if I can get you guys in there. No, you won't be able to see it. My IV was right here. I blew my IV. This is important. The reason why I blew my IV and how my contraction stopped. I did not realize I blew my IV, nor did we know why the contraction stopped. So they waited like 2 or 3 minutes and we're watching the contractions to come. I had nothing, no contraction, none whatsoever. And I was having them every like 45 to 60 seconds, not a contraction. Then the baby's heart rate dropped dramatically. And then the OB realized what happened. My placenta completely separated from the uterine wall. So my uterus thought the baby was already out. He was not. Just the tip of his head. So like if this is it, his head was just like there. I had to push my baby out without any contractions. I don't know how I did it. I tore more than somebody should tear. It took her 30 minutes to stitch all of the tears because I had to push him out, because when you have a contraction, it like relaxes and helps. I didn't have that. So thankfully I had my epidural, so I didn't feel it. I didn't feel any of it. And then I almost had to have 2 units of blood. They had them, but they were waiting. And, once he was out and my placenta was out, the bleeding stopped completely, 100%. I spotted after he was born. I didn't really bleed. But this is getting kind of long, so we're going to stop there. He was born on July 31st at 10:08 p.m. He weighed 8 pounds, 7.5 ounces, and was 20 inches long. No complications for him. No complications for me. Everything was fine. There is another story I'm going to do after this, of the 6 weeks since he's been born, for like a baby update and what happened to me being hospitalized after he was born, after we left the hospital. So, but let me give you guys the infamous belly shot, and I will show you little man in person. This is postpartum. This bump is the umbilical cord, the hernia I had when I was pregnant with him. It's still there, but I'm not sucking in, I'm not pushing out. There's nothing I'll show you guys with all the glory of my stretch marks, but that's the umbilical cord. But yeah, I'm back in clothes that I wore prior to being pregnant. Let's see if I can move that up. Sorry, jerking. I got a new tripod. But let me show you the little guy. So here he is. He's angry because he woke him up. Very happy, chill baby. I will do a complete baby update here, and showing you guys all of what happened after he was born, the only little issues we've had with him, and what happened to me. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and we'll see you next time. Bye.